Alright, what's going on YouTube? Cloverbells here, back with another team building video, and today we're going to be looking at one of my favorites. We're going to be looking at Reshiram, and I think I've got a pretty good idea on how exactly to play this restricted, even though it's one of the lesser ones now, but Reshiram has a couple of good matchups into some of the meta. Of course, we have the good matchup into Zacian, right, because of our fire typing. And our strong fire stack can just obliterate pretty much most Zacians, if not all of them. And then Xerneas is only neutral to it because of our fire typing again, even though our dragon typing will make it weak, but because we're dual typing, it's neutral. So we're not too bad there, but we're still going to have a check to Xerneas in that regard. So again, we're going to go with the sandwich method, the Chipotle bowl method, where we're going to start with our restricted, and then we're going to support it, and then check other meta threats with the rest of the team. So, if you look at Reshiram here, right, it's a dragon fire type, which means it's weak to a ground type. And when we're thinking fantasy core, in terms of dragon fairy steel, I would prefer to have one of those typings as a dual typing in flying, because this way we can defensively pivot from like a Landorus Earth Power or like a Groudon Precipice Blades into a flying type, and then we're in a much better spot. So that's how I like to do my builds. And if you remembered how we built Xerneas, it's going to be pretty much the same way, with a little bit of differences. All right, but in the meantime, so I can see that the speed is 90, and a lot of these restricteds are like base 90 speeds, which means, you know, they're not that fast, but they're not too slow. So you kind of have to pick and choose how you want to do it. Do you want to go like a tailwind route or a trick room route? So like Groudon typically can go either way. Same thing with Kyogre, and Reshiram is no different. So we're gonna go actually with tailwind this time, just like how we did Xerneas, and our way of dealing with Trick Room is going to be through the form of screens. Alright, so you already know that our core is going to be Grimmsnarl. Alright, and the Cloverbells icon, the icon of the channel, Celesteela. So, again, what are we doing here by doing this? We have our fantasy core, our dragon fairy steel core, and the best part about Celesteela is, again, this flying typing, which allows you to pivot into the Reshiram slot if you believe that a ground move is coming, right? And again, the Grimmsnarl just helps support these two very, very well because of the screens. And then the idea behind the team is to just sit behind screens and then deal damage and, you know, be safe. Okay, and with Trick Room, you don't really care, right? Because you're going to be going with the Leech Seed route, okay? And you're just going to be alternating your protects, okay? And, you know, that's kind of how you're going to stall Trick Room, right? And if you played Celesteela like that, you know that's the way to go. Alright, so we got a Dragon Fairy Steel core here. So now I kind of also like to go with a Fire, Water, Grass core. And luckily enough for us, Reshiram already has that fire typing. So now how am I going to do a grass typing, and what do I need it for? Well, now that I've got my core, how can I check Kyogre? Well, Grimmsnarl Light Screen is going to help, that's for sure. But we need a little bit more. So we're going to go with Rillaboom here, of course. And I think like pretty much all my teams had a Rillaboom. I mean, it's just too good not to have. You know, you get your Fake Out, you get your Priority Grassy Glides, doesn't care about Trick Room either. So yeah, you might as well go Rillaboom here. You can even go Serena if you want, but I just like Rillaboom, okay? Especially with that Assault Vest item. So now from here, alright, I got my Fire type, I got my Grass type. Where's my Water type gonna be? So now I have to think about speed control here, right? And I've already got 4 slots here, and I don't have any speed control unless I go Scary Face with the Grimmsnarl, but we're not going to do Scary Face on the Grimmsnarl this time around. So now I'm already thinking Suicune, okay? Suicune's pretty good here, especially with Inner Focus. I would also note that something like a Gyarados, believe it or not, works here because, again, you get that flying pivot. All right. And you also get your Intimidate because there's no Incineroar here. But because we already have Celesteela, I feel like we don't want too much electric weakness, especially with Regieleki. So we don't really need Gyarados this time around. Suicune more than suffices here because of our Tailwind play. Alright, so now we have good speed control here. But now we need a little bit more, actually, because this isn't enough. Even though Tailwind is nice. I could go Drum Beating here, but I'm not going to. So now I've got my Fire, Water, Grass Core, my Dragon, Fairy, Steel Core. So I got my defensive pivots down. I still have one more slot, so what else can I do? Well, I can probably go for, you know, a little bit more damage and a little bit more speed control, right? Because Celesteela doesn't really, pretty much does damage through Leech Seed. Okay, and slowly wither your opponents down, and Reshiram does damage, Rillaboom does some damage, Suicune not so much, so I could use a little bit more damage here, and I opted to go for Regieleki here, okay? And the thing with Regieleki here is, just like on a Kyogre team, if you have Tailwind, there's no need to go max speed Regieleki, and because I have screens also, Tailwind and screens, I can actually opt for a modest, bulky Regieleki, actually, this time around. And then just go straight Violence with that Magnet item. Oh, I put Magnemizer. Ooh, hello. Alright, so I like this. So this is the 6, okay? If you think about what I can do here. So like Rillaboom, Regieleki, good for Kyogre matchup, even Grimmsnarl here. And if they bring Serena, we have a Reshiram, right? So that's pretty good. What do I have against Zacian? You've got Reshiram, that's good against Zacian. You have your own Suicune. You've got a Regieleki for speed control. These two are going to help you a lot. And then Celesteela, also like with this endgame potential, with Grimmsnarl is also an option. Against Calyrex Shadow, well, you have a Dark type already, and you already know this is going to have Sucker Punch, so that's pretty good. Rillaboom, you have the option to go with Knockoff, and you can even go Snarl on your Suicune, so we've got that covered there. So we've got our bases covered. And then for like Xerneas, this is your counter, Celesteela. And now the thing is with Celesteela, yes, you are a steel type. Yes, you have a steel move into Xerneas, but Xerneas teams have redirection. They either have an Amoonguss or they have a Volcarona. And the other random strangers have Indeedee for whatever reason. So they have redirection with it. So how do you get past that redirection to get to Xerneas? Well, the other thing you can do is just go with Roar here. I put Roar. Go with Roar here in the Suicune slot, and then obviously just go with Safety Goggles here. So now you have two things for Xerneas, right? You can just roar it out if they're gonna go for that Geomancy, and then Celesteela can finish the end game against Xerneas after you've finished removing their redirector from the game. Okay, so we've got a lot of answers here. We've got speed control here, we've got screens, we've got fake out, we've got priority moves. So we've got a good amount of tools here on this Reshiram team. I'm liking it so far. Alright, so now let's go ahead and do the movesets, and let's go ahead and do the EVs now that we have the 6. Alright, so now that we've got our 6, let's take a look at the EVs. So I'm just going to do the one that's the easiest one and the one that we've always used on the channel. So of course we're going to go Assault Vest Rillaboom, and we're going to go with Grassy Glide, Fake Out, oh boy, Fake Out, Knockoff here, and our pivot move of U-Turn. And again, same strat with our EVs, 192 HP for optimized grassy terrain recovery, because 192 divided by 16 is 12. Then you go to the third bump, 196. This is for to always KO those uninvested Kyogres, and if they're already chipped, then you're gonna KO it, unless they're running that weird Rindo Berry set. God help them if they are. And then from here, just go 116 to be faster than 95% of the Rillabooms out there, and then the rest in Spadef. This will let you live that Tornadus Hurricane, especially if they're not Life Orb. Okay, so this is the easiest one that we've done. It's one that we've always used on the channel. Alright, so now going forward here, We've done Suicune. There's just a small, tiny adjustment to Suicune, but we'll get to it in a second. But let's do the moves first. So I like Reshiram to be able to deal damage. We have the screen support, we have the speed control support. So now let's just opt for damage. Sometimes you can go for the assault vest here and just be extra bulky, but we're gonna have Spadef investment anyway. So I rather just go for the life orb, all right? And especially we have Grimmsnarl screens. So we're gonna go Blue Flare for our stab move, Draco Meteor, our other stab move, and Earth Power, ground coverage, and protect, okay? Now the thing here is some of you are a little bit conscious of Blue Flare's accuracy of 85%, and I understand you, and then you can just go Fusion Flare, right? And it's still base 100. But for me, I just say, you know, good players don't miss. So just go with Blue Flare. It's 30 base more damage. I mean, it's really good. You kind of have to run it. You just OHKO so many things. But if you want Fusion Flare, it's perfectly fine. Grimmsnarl, standard set here. We're gonna go Light Clay. All right. We're gonna go Spirit Break, Sucker Punch, Light Screen, and Reflect. Okay. Celesteela, let's put the Heavy Slam stab move first, then Leech Seed. Alright, now here you have a couple options here, but of course we're gonna go leftovers. You can go Iron Defense, just to increase your longevity on the field. So that's also totally fine. But for me, I kind of like Wide Guard on this kind of Celesteela. So we're gonna go with Wide Guard here, but if you like Iron Defense, then totally go for it. Okay. Rillaboom, we actually already did the Eevees, so that's fine. Alright, so Suicune, of course, Scald for our stab move, and then just a simple Ice Beam, just for the annoying Landorus eyes, because Reshiram and Regieleki, they don't like Lando Eye very well. So Suicune with the Ice Beam is great. And then Regieleki, believe it or not, it's just relatively standard. Thunderbolt, I put Thunder, sorry. Thunderbolt, Electro Web, alright, Volt Switch, and Protect. So, we got the moves. Okay, now let's talk about EVs. So I have some calcs for Reshiram here, but the main thing is we're gonna go Modest, and we're gonna go with this base 115 speed. And the reason why we're gonna go with this 115 speed is after an Electro Web, you're going to outspeed first of all Lando Eye. Well, actually you can't even Electro Web Lando Eye. What am I saying? The Nihiligo. All right, so the Nihiligo after Electro Web, you can get that out of there and then just KO it with an Earth Power, because you don't want to take a Meteor Beam, a +1 Meteor Beam from a Nihiligo, right? So I feel like that's a pretty good speed number. This will also help you outspeed like Serena's. Not that Serena really threatens you, but again, 115 is a pretty good speed tier, I would say. And also some Groudons. Some Groudons don't even hit that this much. They actually go about 28 or 20. Some of them are even 114, so that's why I go 115, because then you can use their own sun against them and then just KO back with a Blue Flare, right? Even without the speed control. So I kind of like that. And then from here, we're just gonna go to the second bump, but one more. So this is the first bump. You see how you go from 196 to 198. This is the first bump. So then that means after 80 more EVs, you're gonna hit the second bump. So if I go to 156 investment, all right, boom, you hit 209, and I'm just gonna add one more because there's gonna be a leftover EV there, so I just put it in special attack. All right, now for optimized Life Orb chip, so there's a couple of things you could do here. You could just go 179 and say, okay, there's my optimized Life Orb chip, which means 179 divided by 10 is 17.9. And remember, in Pokemon it rounds down, so 17.9 becomes 17, so you'll be taking 17 damage per turn from Life Orb, but we're gonna make it even more bulky. Alright, you can go to 189 or you can go to 199, and I've decided to go with 199. And then from here I have some some defense, a tiny bit of defense, and quite a bit of special defense. And there's a reason why I have this, and I'll show you some calcs here. So let's go ahead and go. Okay, so we've got the Reshiram here. So first of all, let's look at Nihilego. Okay, the common Nihilego is they're running 76 defense with 180 special attack. You can see right away with Meteor Beam, we're gonna live it actually relatively comfortably. At most we'll have like 10 HP, 10% left. But again, you know, you have to go figure like Life Orb chip. So we should be able to live and just KO it right back if it ever calls for it. But the idea is after an Electro Web, you can KO this thing with actually outspeed it and KO it, right, with your Reshiram. And if you have a light screen, okay, that's doing nothing. And even if it's +1, that still does nothing. If it's actually 252 Nihilego, I can't imagine it is. It's not so common. But if you're one of the few that goes 252 Nihilego, you live that anyway. All right. With the light screen, and nothing's saving you from our Reshiram Earth Power, so sorry about that, buddy. Alright, so enjoy your +1 Meteor Beam. Okay, now let's look at something like Landorus. So Landorus, with the without the light screen, they have a favorable roll to KO you. It's actually not too favorable, but it is favorable. However, with a light screen, of course, you live that comfortably, and then you just KO right back with the blue flare. Okay, so there's something like that. Kyogre, remember the water spout is neutral from a Kyogre set. So let's just let me just make this a custom Kyogre. Alright, so typically they like to, you know, outspeed a Lecky, but still go 252 modest. Alright, and then they'll just go like 4 defense, and then I think it's like 28 HP, something like that. But even without the screens, you still live that max water spout in the rain. Look, 98%, which is also what I was looking at. But again, if you have that light screen with the Grimmsnarl, you're gonna cut that damage quite a bit. So very nice defensive bulk here against the Kyogre. Even without the screen, you're gonna live it, and you'll deal big damage with a Draco Meteor. So that's pretty good. Then we'll take a look. Calyrex. That one, I believe that one's like an easy one. Calyrex Shadow. So custom set here. Let's say they're 252 Life Orb. All right. So Astro Barrage, yeah, that does not do a whole lot, and you have very nice favorable roll to kill with a blue flare. And if they're Life Orb, they're dead anyway because they take chip. So there's that. Zacian, so if you're curious about Zacian, let's say like they're going to the second bump in their adamant nature, which is actually 156, but to get a better even number when they get the Intrepid boost, they'll go 164. Behemoth Blade is a 3-hit KO, so you have lots of chances to hit with blue flare, but Zacian is just not a problem at all, so enjoy that. What about like Eternatus, right? So what about like some Eternatus calcs? So like the common Eternatus, they're running something like this, where they'll have 240 HP for Grassy Terrain Recovery, and they'll only go second bump in their modest nature. The Meteor Beam does just maximum almost 70%, even if they're +1. They have about an 18% chance to OHKO, which is not terrible. Not bad, but then you just remove them with the Draco Meteor and then you're fine, right? So what if they have like a Dynamax Cannon? So let me just take out one of these stab moves and well, actually let me just take out Meteor Beam. No, actually I'll keep Meteor Beam just for the sake of seeing the talc. So let's look at Dynamax Cannon. So Dynamax Cannon will KO you, right? But again, if you have that light screen up, wait, why did I wait? If I remove the +1, all right. So without the +1, first of all, Dynamax Cannon doesn't kill you, all right? And then you KO it right back. Okay, if you already had the +1, all right. But if you have the light screen up, +1's not gonna matter because you're gonna live it and you're just gonna smash it right back. So those are some Eternatus calcs right there, and it's pretty true for like any of the Dragon Restricteds. Your Draco Meteor is just too strong. You're a Reshiram, So you'll be just fine. All right. I think I'm not sure if I showed the Landorus. I can't remember, but again, Landorus, Earth Power. Yeah, I mean, you die. Oh yeah, I did show this. Okay, so there's that. So those are some Reshiram calcs. That's why I did it. So yeah, now let's look at the Grimmsnarl. So the Grimmsnarl here, we're just gonna go something like this. So like, because we have Tailwind, 84 speed will get it to 168, so you'll outspeed the base 100s. But I do want to outspeed like a Lando I under Tailwind and then just go for like a Spirit Break. So I went to like 85 here. So I felt like 85 was pretty good. And then from here, I went with this, right? So I went with 140, which was the bump. Actually, I just did this. Okay, and then I went to 103, which is that magical prime number. All right, actually it was 116. That was the bump, right? Yeah, 119 to 121. Yeah, this is the bump, right? You see here it goes 119. Then if you go here, it's 121. Okay, so there's the bump there, and then from here, just some attack and then some HP bulk. So there's our defensive Grimmsnarl spread. It's just a bulky Grimmsnarl with optimization in the speed tier and the bulk and the defensive bulk. I'll leave this one for last because I have some calcs to show you with this. We did Rillaboom here. So Suicune, I like to just make this 1 point faster than Reshiram, so the Tailwind goes first. So we're gonna make Suicune speed, in this case 116, which is fine. We're gonna go with the calm nature here. And we'll go second bump, so 165, and then just 4 special attack. We don't really need that much attack, and we have that 92 defensive bulk, and then the rest in HP. And again, what this does is you'll live the Adamant Rillaboom 252 Grassy Glide, even if they have Miracle Seed, and you'll live the Regieleki Thunderbolt. Okay, I took a tiny bit of bulk away so that I can up the speed by 2 points here, because normally I keep it at 114, because here I would have like Snarl, so this way under Tailwind I go first, but I wanted to go a little bit faster than the Reshiram, so I had to take that away and just go into speed. But you still live the 2 calcs. Okay, now Regieleki. So we're gonna use the same Regieleki that we used in the Kyogre team building video, and some of you are a little bit new to the channel, so what I'm gonna do is show you the calc again, all right, from the beginning. So we're gonna go modest here. Oh, that's naive. And the thing with the speed, you don't really need that much speed, because look, you're gonna have Tailwind anyway, right? And even if you didn't, the only thing you really need to outspeed is Calyrex Shadow Rider, and you're already almost there. You're at 220. If you go like 224 like this, all right, so you already outspeed it. So, but I also want to outspeed like some speed creepers, so I just go up to 44, 226. All right, so, and then from here I just go with the 3rd bump in the special attack. I just want to hit super hard with Regieleki here. I have a magnet, I am transistor. This Regieleki is going to hit hard. All right, and then from here I have a little bit of HP bulk. All right, 44, and then the rest is in defense. All right, so what is the reason behind this calc? So I'm going to show you. So we're going to import. I believe I still have it. Regieleki. All right, and again, if you've seen my Kyogre video, I've done this calc already, but this is just for people that are a little bit more newer to the channel. So it actually lives a Rillaboom Grassy Glide. Okay, so let's imagine that they're Adamant 252, Assault Vest. Look at that. That does very little. You can live it, and then potentially KO something else on the field. Let's say they're Miracle Seed. Okay. You live that too. See, look at that. We are a very bulky Regieleki. So Adamant 252 Miracle Seed Rillaboom does not OHKO a Regieleki. Imagine that. Alright. You also live the Urshifu Wicked Blow. This is a Regieleki from Series 9, by the way. So that's why I'm showing you this. let's say this is Sash and it goes for Wicked Blow. See, you live it. All right. So yeah, I think it's kind of cool. And then you just OHKO it right back with a Thunderbolt, assuming it had a Sash broken. But if it had a Sash, then it had a Sash. All right. But yeah, those are the two important calcs with Regieleki. And the reason why I'm doing this instead of going Focus Sash is I have Tailwind to make me faster anyway, and I have screens, so I can, because I have more speed control and bulk here from the screens, I can go modest and I can be a little bit slower. I only need to outspeed Calyrex Shadow Rider. All right, I don't care about other Regielekis. If it's a one-on-one with another Regieleki that's 252 timid, they're gonna go first, but they're gonna do less damage. I'm gonna KO that Regieleki before that Regieleki KOs me. All right, so and again, with the screens, it's going to be good, you know, with Kyogre as well. All right, anyway, so we've got these four. Okay, so now the Celesteela. Okay, so Celesteela, we're going to go with the Careful Nature. We're physical Celesteela, so it makes sense. We're going to go first bump in Careful, and you'll see like some calcs. This spread's gonna help you live a lot of things. We're just gonna go 192 here with optimized leftovers recovery. If you think that's not enough, if you want to go max like this 204, feel free to do that. That's totally fine. I went with 192 because I put some in defensive bulk. But from here, we have enough attack where if I equal it like this, my attack stat and my special defense, I see that they're equal, but this is the absolute minimum where if I KO something with a heavy slam, I'm gonna get an attack boost. All right, so be on the lookout for that. And then from here, we don't really need too much speed here. If anything, I can just do something like this. And I believe this was my spread, if I want to remember correctly. I believe it is. Okay, I had a little bit. Oh, I remember why. Because under Tailwind, I'll be 168 and faster than base speed 100. So I did that. All right. So what is this Celesteela spread? So let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. So let's take a look at a common Regieleki. All right, the common one, right? Let's look at it. All right, 252, timid, transistor ability, okay, focus sash, but let's say Thunderbolt, right? Thunderbolt. All right, you actually live very, very well. Oh, that's why. Hold on. I was wondering, like, wait a minute, that's way too good. All right, so so we have a Thunderbolt here. So Celesteela does a relatively good job living this Thunderbolt here from this Regieleki. So I like this spread here. That's why you do run Careful Nature, and if you have Light Screen up, then that thing is just a 2-hit KO. And then look how much Heavy Slam is doing. So it's going well, and then you can Leech Seed this thing. And get some recovery on it. It's pretty good. I like it a lot. What this mainly does, well, why we have so much defense is this is the reason. Like an Incineroar set, regardless if it's Impish or Careful, the Flare Blitz with the Reflect Up can be a 3-hit KO, right? Because if you imagine it, the Flare Blitz is going to do, let's say, max 56%. Alright, so I have about 44% left. Okay, and then you're going to be Leech Seeding it. Okay, and then you protect, right? So then you're just getting recovery 3 times, and then you just chip it down quite a bit, and then something else can probably finish it off. So this is like a 3-hit from an Incineroar. The other thing was, where is it? Let me go back to our Regieleki set. Alright, so this Regieleki set, also with this bulk, with the Reflect Up, Incineroar Flare Blitz is a 3-hit KO. So I kind of like that a lot. I'm sorry, no. Why did I say 3-hit KO? It's a 2-hit KO, yeah. So that's pretty good as well. But again, the Steela set. It's just meant to be super bulky against Incineroar and take that Flare Blitz and take that Thunderbolt from a Regieleki, and then you just chip your opponents over time, especially if you're hiding behind screens. So I really like this Steela set. So we explained, I believe, all of them, right? Rillaboom, Suicune, and Regieleki. Yeah. So now let's just put the format here, and this is our paste. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this team into action. It looks good on paper, but how does it perform, right? So let's go ahead and jump into some test battles. Okay, so this is an Eternatus Celesteela team. So he actually has a similar idea like me, in using a Dragon restricted that's weak to ground, and then supporting it with a Steel Flying type like a Celesteela. So the main difference here is that I have Tailwind and he doesn't. So if I have speed control, I can overwhelm him, especially with my Reshiram, because he has 3 things weak to Earth Power: his Eternatus, his Incin, and his Raikou. And my Dragon move is going to overpower that Eternatus, right? The main thing is the Lando, because it's good against my Rillaboom, my Landorus, and my Lecky, but that's why I'm going to bring Reshiram. And if he even leads the Lando, I lead the Suicune. Alright, so I'm gonna lead the Suicune and the Reshiram here, and then have Regieleki, just so that I have something to hit the Celesteela with, in addition with Reshiram. And then I'm gonna bring Celesteela in the back for the end game. Alright, so if we let play start, I go Suicune, I go Reshiram, let's get the speed control going. He actually goes with his Eternatus and Landorus. So right away, you notice the difference here, right? We both have our Dragon restricteds, but right now he's faster and I'm not. However, I can go for Tailwind, and the next turn I can be faster than him. So if we let play continue, I'm just going to protect my Reshiram first and go for Tailwind. He actually goes for Dynamax Cannon. We lived that. He Earth Powers the Reshiram slot, but we protect. So now we have Tailwind. So now I can go for Ice Beam. I know the Ice Beam is not going to kill. It's going to almost kill, but the point is that I can use my Dragon move on this thing, and there's not too much that can switch into it other than a Celesteela. And I don't think he wants to do it right away. And even if he does, I can just pivot out. Alright, so I almost killed the Lando. I go with the Draco. I take his Eternatus. He lets me have it. So I'm surprised he didn't switch it, because he does go for the Earth Power into my own Reshiram, and then he takes my restricted. So restricted for restricted. Alright, if he just switched that out for something like maybe anything else that could probably live on like 5 health, then he would still have his Eternatus, and then he just KOs my my restricted, but then I would just kill his Lando, right? So now we have this situation where my Regieleki can't really do much against his Landorus. I can just chip the Raikou, and then my Suicune is under some pressure against the Raikou, and I have a Celesteela in the back, so I have to try and get in a good position here. So the Landorus protects. He doesn't want it to die to the Suicune. I just try and chip the Raikou for now, and he goes for the Thunderbolt, and Suicune lives because our Suicune EVs are amazing. Alright, so now we can just go for a more coverage move. So I actually go for Electro Web here, just in case if he would try and switch. I didn't think he would bring the Steela, and he actually did. But I was going Electro Web regardless, just so that in the endgame, Celesteela can get faster than Raikou after like 2 Electro Webs. So he gives me that. I chipped the Steela a little bit with Scald, and now he finally kills the Suicune, and now I can get my free switch into my own Steela. So my own Steela is in a pretty good spot, because I can just Electro Web again, and then the Raikou will be at -2, and then Celesteela can outspeed after that, right? So from here, the Steela protects. That doesn't matter. I go for the Electro Web here. Alright, I chip the Raikou. He's -2. He goes for the Thunderbolt, and we live, right? Because we have our nature. And then now I get my Leech Seed off. Okay, and now I start draining him, and I start getting leftovers recovery. So now he goes into his Landorus, right? So I know he doesn't want to take another Electro Web, because then Celesteela wins the game. But technically I already did win the game, because I called this switch and I cover for it. So I Electro Web anyway to kill this Celesteela. If he has Wide Guard, he has Wide Guard. I mean, it doesn't matter. But I heavy slam this slot no matter what. So this way, even if he does switch, I catch him. And lo and behold, he did switch. I just go for the kill anyway, and then I just heavy slam that slot no matter what, and now Celesteela's +1, and now we get leftovers recovery. Now he has just this Raikou, and he's going against 2 Mons. He can only kill 1. He can't even really kill any of these because I'm just going to protect my Steela and then just chip the Regieleki with the Regieleki. So there's that crit doesn't matter at that point because, again, I protected the Steela, and even though he calls my protect, look how much that does. Not much at all. So again, it's still going to be a 2-on-1. Steela definitely kills from this range. Not that it matters, but of course he just forfeits because he knows. Alright, so that was a cool game 1 against an Xerneas squad, so how about that? Okay, so this is a very weird Yveltal team. Again, we're not really high on the ladder. We're just on the test account here. So one thing I noticed is he does have Tailwind like us, again with the Suicune. The difference here is he's got 3 things weak to Regieleki, and then the other 2 things he has, Reshiram just destroys. So like Regieleki and Reshiram just win this game. So if I lead Grimmsnarl with Regieleki with Reshiram in the back, I feel like I'm fine. So that's exactly what I do. He goes with his own Tailwind with Lele and Suicune. I go with Grimmsnarl and Aleki here. So, I mean, all I really have to do is just get a light screen up and then just try and smash this Suicune with a Thunderbolt here. And he doesn't know that I'm modest with Magnet, so I'm very confident that this is going to one-shot it unless he's like super bulky on the special defense side. So we go for light screen, I deny his Tailwind, and then I just kill the Suicune. And Moonblast doesn't KO the Grimmsnarl, so he has no way of getting speed control on me now. He brings in a Darmanitan. Now, I don't know if the Thunderbolt kills from this range, so all I really have to do is just get the Reflect up and then just get Electrowebs going, so this way Reshiram can come in and outspeed everything and then just finish the game. So I get the Reflect up, Electroweb, chip them down, -1 speed on all sides. He actually Earthquakes, very surprisingly, and I live no matter anyway because I have some bulk and I have Reflect up, but then the Moonblast double into Grimmsnarl takes it out. But again, we have Reshiram coming in with screen support, and I still have a Regieleki on my side. Just Thunderbolt the Darmanitan, and then just Blue Flare that slot, and that's it. I mean, he has an Yveltal. Yveltal's not going to do anything here because we're faster. I can just Thunderbolt this, but I went in case of a Sucker Punch. You know, he can't even do that anyway. It's Psychic Terrain, so the Yveltal just goes straight down after an Electro Web. Even though I crit him, it didn't matter. I still had plenty in the back. So let's keep going and let's look at a couple more. Alright, another Yveltal team and another Suicune Tailwind. So I'm gonna match Tailwind with Tailwind here. But again, something like Regieleki looks really good here. I know he has a Mamoswine and I know he's gonna bring it. But we have enough with like a Suicune and a Rillaboom in the back especially. So I feel like I'm fine here. So he goes with the Yveltal and Suicune lead. So probably wants Tailwind right from the get-go. Now, the thing is, there's no way he doesn't bring a Mamo here, right? I just have to predict if he's going to swap it in. So, he could bring it in any of these 2 slots, but he's more likely to bring it into the Yveltal slot, right? And I want to deny him of Tailwind anyway, so I'm going to Electric move the Suicune slot and then Scald this slot, because everything he has in the back is physical. So, if I can get a burn, that would be amazing. So, I call the switch. He brings in the Mamoswine right then and there. He brings in Serena. I Thunderbolt. I do very good chip damage on that. I don't think that's AV. I'm pretty sure that's on the Yveltal here. And then I just Scald the Mamo. Big damage. Alright, burn it. And guess what he does next? He forfeits, right? Because he has nothing left to really kill the Reshiram. That was his only thing against Reshiram here. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, GG's. So let's look at one more. Okay, so this one is going to be the toughest one yet, and I'll tell you why. Because he has 2 endgame bombs that are similar to Steela in that they just spam recover all the time, and then you're going to have to find a way to win on one-on-one. So, actually Steela can, because we can just Leech Seed both slots, and then just, you know, keep clicking protects every now and then. But the thing is, can we get boosts everywhere else? So I know he has to bring the Entei, right? I've got 2 things weak to fire, the Steela and the Rillaboom. He has to bring the Entei. Of course, he's going to bring the Lugia. It's his restricted. The next question is he going to bring Hitmontop? I don't think he does, because I have a lot of special attackers here in like Regieleki, Suicune, and Reshiram. I don't think he brings that. The Venusaur doesn't make too much sense here either, because I have a Reshiram, so he probably just brings like the Porygon, and then the Raichu probably because I have a Regieleki. So that's my guess here. So in what order, I don't know, but I'm going to bring in Grimmsnarl and Rillaboom, and then he has a Lugia, and there's an Entei. So right here, I realize I screwed up the Rillaboom in that my ability is Overgrow instead of Grassy Surge. So I'm at a handicap here. I forgot to change it when I was building the team, but let's see how I can perform without Grassy Terrain Rillaboom, right? So I can't fake this out. And I would just die here, so I'm gonna have to come up with a play here. So what I'm gonna do is switch into Reshiram here, just in case he goes for the fire move or even the flying move. Reshiram should still eat it, and what I'm gonna do is just go for a Spirit Break on the Lugia. So he goes for the fire move on the Rillaboom slot, and then there's a Calm Mind Lugia. I figured he might try and do that. I break the Shadow Scale, and I remove that special attack boost that he had. So now I'm just gonna go, he goes for it again. I'm just gonna go for a Reflect here. But I go for Earth Power. That's AV, because Entei should not live that. So that is 100% AV. And I believe I just went for another Spirit Break instead of a Reflect in the last second, just to again remove that special attack boost. So I don't want my Reshiram to die yet. So now let's start going for the end game here. I've chipped both of these down. I don't think he Sacred Fires this slot. So what I can do is just try and kill the Entei. I don't. I tried my best. I thought it would KO. Doesn't matter. Stone Edge is the Celesteela, not too big of a deal. Aeroblast does nothing because Lugia is garbage. Leftovers, here we go. Goes with the Extreme Speed. Nice try there. But then, again, Aeroblast. Grimmsnarl hangs on. Grimmsnarl is an absolute champ. Alright, and then we seed the Lugia. Alright. You might even argue I could have seeded the Entei here. But again, I'm going to switch out into Rillaboom. I anticipate another Extreme Speed here. And he goes for Calm Mind again. And then I just Heavy Slam the Entei and remove it. So the Entei's gone. The one thing that could kill Stela is gone. All he has left is a Raichu if he even brought it. So let's see if he did. He does have the Raichu. So here he's got an Air Balloon, and I have no I do have a Fake Out, but he's faster than me, right? So, and I have no Grassy Terrain. And he has got an Air Balloon, but that's irrelevant. So he goes for Fake Out on the Rillaboom. I flinch. Lugia clicks Recover. I expected that, which is why I seeded the Raichu slot. Okay, so now he Volt Switches into the Stela. It does some damage, but not a whole lot into his P2. Again, that's fine. Aeroblast from Lugia comes out. +1 doesn't kill a Rillaboom because we have an AV, and we have good EVs in our Rillaboom, but also Lugia just sucks. Alright, we go for Grassy Glide just to get some damage. Again, this is without Grassy Terrain. It would have been nice if I had it, because I think I went for Heavy Slam into the Porygon there. I don't think that was correct. I probably should have seeded that slot. But again, I decided to give him the Grimmsnarl here, just so that I can recycle my Fake Out, and now I decide to lead the Porygon, and now he recovers, right? But it's still okay, because I'm seeding both slots, and this Lugia is slowly chipping down, even though both of these things have Recover. Alright, so now we go into Reshiram here. I protect the Reshiram. I don't want to die just yet from an Earth Power, which I call. And I Heavy Slam the Lugia, deal some big damage. Foul Plays me, does nothing. And then more Leech Seed chip onto the Lugia and the Porygon. I know he has to recover here. It's quite obvious. Alright, so I'm going to switch into Rillaboom here. He does go for the Recover. I try and get more Heavy Slam chip damage. The Porygon recovers, and we kill the Lugia. Alright, and we got our Rillaboom in safely, but he does have the Raichu. My plan here is very simple here. I'm going to just go into the Reshiram here, preserve my Fake Out another time. He Nuzzles instead of Fake Out, so he paralyzes me. So he's going for the Hax Play. He Ice Beams the Rillaboom slot, but I have a Reshiram. I'm taking it just fine. And I seed the Raichu slot, which is all I could really ask for. Alright, and now I start doing chip damage. Alright, he Volt Switch, finally kills the Reshiram. And he Ice Beams me, does some damage. But now I start Heavy Slamming the Raichu. And again, my Leech Seed is just draining both of these. There's really nothing he can do. So main thing here is I don't want to Fake Out the Raichu, because I deny Steela the +1 boost, and I'm gonna need it against the Porygon in the endgame. So I instead decide to fake out the Porygon and let Celesteela kill the Raichu, so Celesteela can get +2. Alright, so we do that. Rillaboom goes down, that's fine. I just need to kill the Raichu and not get Parahacks, and I do. So now I'm +2, and I'm in a pretty good spot against the Porygon because he's seeded, and you know, he can only recover so much. I'm doing more damage than he's recovering, and I have Seed Chip, so you can see that the end is near. He really can't do much. He tries for the foul play, does considerable damage, not enough, and the game is over from here. That was his last gasp, and yeah, again, a long game, but Celesteela basically 4-0'd this person. So that's the beauty of this team, right? You have that Celesteela endgame. Alright, so now let's go look at the pace one last time. Yeah, I mean, like, if there was a team that you could make use and help Reshiram excel, I think it's this. We have a very good spread on all of our mons here, especially the Regieleki here, and even the Reshiram has good bulk, and the Celesteela endgame is always good, especially if you have Grimmsnarl screens up already. Suicune does its job. You're gonna find some use for that Roar. Oh, actually, I need to change that. It's not Snarl, it's Roar with the goggles. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, so remove that. Alright, so yeah, there we go. It's Roar. Just as a backup plan B against Xerneas, because we need to get through the redirection, right? But yeah, I will make a rental code out of this, and I'd like to put a video for it, me using this kind of team. It's similar to my Eternatus team, but that Eternatus team that I made, I think it had like Urshifu on it instead of the Suicune, and I think Suicune should have also been on there. So I'm going to adjust that. But again, this is like a pretty cool Reshiram team. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Hopefully this gave you some ideas on how to try and use Reshiram. And we're getting ever so close to our goal of 1,000 subscribers. I think we have like 920 at this point or something like that. So yeah, thank you all for your support, and thanks for watching. We'll be back with another Series 10 video. Until next time, peace.